Hi, welcome to Dark Politics Tarot. My name is Nick, and today I'll be reading on how this Aries moon, which is happening tonight, will affect the Trump regime. So I'm going to ask the Urban Crow Oracle deck and then the Influence of the Angels deck. So I just want to see how will this show me like who's emerging and how will this affect them? Will it be good for them? Full moons are a good time for release. And, ooh, exposed. Exposed. So it leaves them in some kind of exposure. How will this affect the Trump regime? How will the Aries moon affect the Trump regime? Oh, distance will affect the exposed distance. So how will this affect the Trump regime? Influence fell out. Influence. Distant influence. Okay. So something's going to be exposed about this regime. Something is going to be exposed with the full moon in Aries. Now I'm going to ask the influence of the angels. I'm going to use this deck. Ask Spirit, how is this Aries moon going to affect the Trump regime? How is this going to affect the Trump regime? Nothing's jumping just yet. How is this going to affect the Trump regime? Please show me. The Knight of Swords. Well, Aries is ruled by Mars, which rules over military, police, guns, knives. So that doesn't surprise me that the Knight of Swords, a very aggressive card, comes out for them. Knight of Pentacles crosses them. So I'd say that's the law crossing them. And we know they're doing all these illegal actions, sending, the National Guard into states. The Six of Wands. There's some kind of victory for them at the base of the reading. Some kind of victory. Please show me what's happening with the Trump regime. Anybody coming out strong during this full moon? Is there some concern? King of Pentacles. So that could be Donald Trump. Could be an oligarch. There's a lot of people cards here. The Empress. America is on top as the overarching energy here. Show me the Trump regime and how the Aries, the moon in Aries, will affect them. Page of Swords. So yeah, another sword card coming out. In the near future, something they're going to have to go through. Show me the Aries, moon in Aries, how it affects the Trump regime. There he is. King of Wands. Always comes through. Donald Trump. In this deck, he's the King of Wands. So show me the Trump regime. Ooh, the Devil card. Show me how the Aries moon will affect this regime. Seven of Wands jumped out. That's in the hopes and fears. How does this Aries moon work out for the Trump regime? What will it reveal? What will come out? What's going to happen? Five of Wands. More fighting. So let's get into the table. Well, I think this is pretty exciting, this reading. So we have them exposed now from the full moon in Aries. Something comes out about them, something big. Now, the distance card, distance influence could be like, well, it's not that much of an influence, but I don't think it means that. The distance, I think, is exposed from a distance. Like a lot of matters are coming forward now. And then the last card is that it does have a big influence on what's going to happen. Now we know it's ruled by Mars, Aries, and we know that this brings more military actions. So I think these actions, all this policing and the violence we're gonna see more of that, and more, they're gonna become more exposed. Now what's interesting here is that the Knight of Swords is a very aggressive card. This deck doesn't give it, the real meaning of the card, this rushing forward with aggressive action. This is them rushing forward, but they're being crossed by the very slow moving knight. But what's really interesting is that there's like all these people here, these knights. And so the actions that they're taking, and I think this is showing the military, not so much success, but the actions they're taking with the National Guard and sending military into states. This is going to cross them because I think the courts are going to be slowing. This is like indictments, paperwork. I think the courts are going to slow these things down, which they have been. The King of Pentacles, to me, is the oligarchy. Do they still want to back this man? Do they still want to back this regime with their money because they see how violent they're becoming, and they are seeing, I think, also how America, the Empress is my card for America. So they're seeing how the people are reacting. And I want to make it clear, like, you really, sorry to point my finger at you, I'm just saying we really need to come back at the oligarchy, stop purchasing, get off of Amazon, delete it. You don't need anything. I know there's some of you that can't shop and that's the only way you get your stuff. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that have the ability to drive a car, to go to, their local stores, farmers markets, whatever. Stop buying from the oligarchy. I haven't bought anything from Target since they did their DEI nonsense. Stop purchasing. All right, I'm going on a side tangent. But the oligarchy is seeing that the American people are fed up. So now we have a Page of Swords. So what was this initial really aggressive action going against Americans? He's calling all of the Democrats the enemy. So anybody who's opposed to Donald Trump's views is his enemy, and he wants to send military after us. He wants to have us arrested. He wants to allow them to shoot at us with, rubber bullets and bear spray people. Like, it's so illegal what he's doing. But we go here from them being really aggressive to being a Page of Swords. So I think somehow the aggression that they're taking, that the sending in the National Guard, is going to be slowed down a lot. So Donald Trump is getting more and more dementia. He's getting more and more angry. They can't control him. And I think a lot of people are seeing, this is the Devil card, a lot of people are seeing his toxic behavior as not good for business. Business owners are going out of business. We need to put the big corporations out of business, but they are seeing how toxic this man is now. They've always seen it, but now they're starting to say, I don't know if this toxicity will be good for my business. So these are the oligarchs saying, I don't know if this is so good for us. And I think there's going to be a lot of pushback. So this is the regime defending themselves. It's the Seven of Wands. So they're putting on a good defense, but I think it causes a huge amount of infighting. A huge amount of infighting. And what do we do now? I don't think they know what to do now. I'm going to just clarify with my mini Rider Waite deck. Let's clarify. Let's just ask about the distance, see if I'm right about that. Let's ask about the distance card. So what does this mean? Can you please clarify the distance card? The Page of Swords again. So it's about maybe us seeing the actions being taken, the message being put out is terrible. Oops, I don't want to take all those cards. I'm going to take this card because it flew out to the side. People are getting very emotional. I think this is about exposure going to come out. News, spies in the camp, news coming out about them that maybe they don't see because they're at a distance. These two came out, flew on my arm. So the Four of Wands, their money, building their structures, the White House money, I think is going to be in jeopardy. So I think the distance here is talking about the oligarchy becoming more distant. The big donors becoming more distant. There's some kind of exposure coming out, spy in the camp, very emotional time. The White House, I don't think, is going to be funded. I think they're going to go against, I think the oligarchs, the corporations, you know, they don't like what they're seeing. And it's all being exposed now. It's all being exposed with this card. And the American people are so fed up. I'm just going to mix these back in. The American people are so fed up with all this. They don't want this. And I think they're finally seeing that if we don't stick with Americans, if we don't stick with the people, they're not going to be buying from us. And that's what we want them to know about us, too. Sorry. Let's clarify. What should we clarify? Let's clarify the outcome card. What about this Five of Wands in the outcome? Show me clarify the outcome card of the Five of Wands during this time of the full moon in Aries. Endings. The Death card is here. Endings. There's going to be battling with the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. They're battling. There's going to be an ending to someone. Can you tell me all who you think that someone is? Leave it in the comments. I think I know who it is. Tell me who you think it is. They're trying to hold on. They're battling. They're trying to hang on, but an ending comes. So they're positioning for their power once again. The regime is positioning for power. Who's going to be the next in charge? Ooh, Eight of Swords. They are locked. They are locked inside. They're trapped. but it's of their own making. You see that card, the Eight of Swords. They could get out of it. You know, all the Republicans could end this today in Congress. I'm taking out more on this. Two of Swords. Someone's going to be stopped. Who do you think that is? Democracy. The King of Cups. Stopping democracy. And then the Lovers cards. Agreements. One more card. Yeah, they don't like what's happening. So to sum up this reading, I really think this very aggressive full moon in Aries will have an effect on them. It's gonna, you know, they're gonna send more military. They're trying to really rile up the American people and make them afraid with all their military actions, with all their guns and their violence and their weapons, you know. They're doing this to us, and America doesn't like it. And so then the oligarchs come in and say, wait a second, maybe the people on our board don't want to fund this anymore. And they're fighting amongst themselves. This is their outcome card. They are fighting the American people, but they're also fighting themselves. And they find themselves with a mad king. He's toxic, he's delusional. He needs to be stopped. And, you know, the regime wants to remain in power, so they're pushing everything they can as fast as they can. They're pushing it through. But I think the American people are going to win in this situation, because this is the overall energy of this reading, that it's the people, that it's us that fights back and we win. And so I think this full moon is going to be very dangerous right now. There's 3 days before the full moon, which has been crazy hectic. And then 3 days after the full moon has the biggest effects on people. And we're going to see more and more violence at this time, unfortunately. It's showing here. The violence is showing. But there will be court issues here too as well. So Mad Donald needs to be stopped, and we will stop him. We're going to be the ones that do that. So thanks for watching, and please give a like and subscribe and share my content so it brings my channel up in the algorithm. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.